So, assignment 5, the last assignment of the course. As I was saying yesterday, assignment 5 is done 7 days before the exam date that the group decide to attend. So this could be 7 days before the first sit in January or 7 days before the exam in September. It's up to the group. There is no change in the requirement on the process or on the rules or in everything. So, what does assignment 5? Assignment 5 says, starting from the end of assignment 4, so starting from the 2 screens in medium fidelity you're going to realize tomorrow, and starting from the plan that you made up on how to fix all the issues that emerged from the heuristic evaluation you received, assignment 4 this week, create a code prototype in high fidelity to be sufficient for a usability test. That means you will recruit some people, some end users, some people in your target population, so not some expert, not some people of the course, to try and use your application to do something. So it should be ready for that. The code prototype can be done with the programming language and framework you prefer. And of course, they are suitable for the kind of prototype you are creating. So we don't really mandate anything or care about which programming language framework you want to use. In the past, there were students that decided to rely on things they learn in Web Application 1. And other students decide, no, I want to take it as an opportunity to learn X, and they went on and learned X, where this X could be something totally different from, let's say, React, or quite similar to React. It's up to you, to the group, to decide which direction you want to take. You can easily start on what you have learned in other courses, mobile application, Kotlin, if you're doing a mobile application, React, idem, if you're doing a mobile application, could be a website that looks like and behave like a mobile application. Or you can also learn something else. Again, it's up to you, to the course. We don't have requirements on that. The only requirement is it should be done in code and should work. So then say the underlying functionality of the prototype does not have to work completely, as in the 3 examples I've shown you just now, but the participant should be able to complete all your 3 tasks. So similarly to the previous level of fidelity. But unlike your previous prototype, the high fidelity prototype must look and feel like a real application. So it should seem a real one. Simulating a realistic experience is more important than backend computation or scalability. So don't dedicate too much time on refining those things, but make it a good interactive prototype, a realistic prototype. As for the other prototype, also here, the trivial, yet maybe mandatory, yet maybe important steps, like login, registration, etc., and some of the underlying functionality does not have to be fully implemented. Again, no login, no registration, you just start with a logged in user. And if you need more user, you just have 2 logged in users and you can switch between them. But you don't have to implement the full process form for login and then checking the password and then creating a new user, etc. You already started with a user ready to start working the application as per the previous prototypes. So don't waste time in doing these things unless you are innovating in the login procedure, which I doubt at this point of the course. Data should be stored in a persistent way, as I mentioned before, and see also the expectation below for more details. So first, create a high fidelity prototype. Second, conduct a usability testing. You don't know yet what is a usability testing. We will cover it starting from next week until basically the end of the December, basically, before the winter holiday. But here say what you have to do. You have to conduct usability testing with at least one participant per team member. So that means that you have a 4-people team, you need to find 4 people evaluating your application. If you are 3-people member group, you should find 3 people evaluating your application. And these people should fall within your target user base, one you thought at the beginning of the course, and you may test with no more than 1 Politecnico student unless you have permission from the teacher of your team, as per the need finding phase. Do not test with people you know well, and especially people who have already seen or been involved in your project, because they are biased. And follow the procedure that we will describe in class, starting from next week, and write a detailed test protocol that we will see and start to create one in class during exercise. So all of these will become familiar in 1 week, 10 days. During the test, take some picture of the participant doing the evaluation and plenty of notes. After the test, prepare a list of potential changes that your group would like to implement to fix the issues. And let me highlight potential and would like. That means you should have a list at the end of things that didn't work, and you can change in that way, but you are not asked to change that. You have a list, these things is not working well, can be changed in that way, and that's where you end for what is requested here. You can do it, you can change it, but it's not requested. So these 2 things. And here there are expectations on the high fidelity prototype that basically cover what I already told you. The prototype can combine interactive feature with hard-coded elements, like in the example we've seen. You should balance pre-script content with interactive element to assess user experience and allow your user, your participant, to complete successfully the 3 tasks in various ways. Etc. in detail. The high fidelity prototype must cover the 3 previous defined tasks. That should be easy if the paper prototype covers the same task. It must respect the constraint of the target device. So if it's a mobile application, looks like and behave like a mobile application with elements that are proper of the mobile application. Navigation in the right place, button large enough for a mobile application, etc., and other attributes of your target platform. It must clearly apply good and consistent visual design aspects, the one we covered in class when we talk about visual design. Here you have colors, you have fonts, so all those things apply. It must be more functional than your previous prototype, yet not a fully functional application. Of course, you have a paper prototype where you handle things and you have created pages by hand. This should be more functional than that. You can generate more pages, you have content more accurate because it should be also quicker to do, generating new content. It must simulate a realistic experience. Again, the trivial yet mandatory steps can be skipped, cannot be fully implemented, etc. For example, application requiring a large set of items can instead have a sufficient amount of pre-stored data. You need exercises for gym, but you have like 5 of them. We had, quite a lot of years ago, a group doing augmented reality for helping people building IKEA furniture, and in theory their catalog should be the IKEA catalog, but it's of course too much, so they just had 3 manuals for building implemented in the app to make their point. And a lot of this object is not available. This is a deactivated building library. You cannot build it with the application. go on the website and download the module, etc., the manual, etc. So sufficient amount of pre-stored data to make your point, to show that the application working and you reach your goal and the three tasks are implemented. And then information that can be manipulated by user must be stored in a persistent way. It should not disappear after a refresh or a restart of the prototype. This is mostly to avoid errors, crashes, etc., that will have you waste more time than actually adding up database in a web application or a database in a mobile application or using Firebase or whatever. Deliverables. For A5, the deliverable is the test protocol in PDF that you will know what is in, again, 7-10 days, with filled up consent form and questionnaire, if any, that is part of the usability testing. Everything else will be in the final report. So how you will conduct the test, the photos, etc., will be just in the final report. And then we will create a new repository for each group that will be named after the project name, not the group name, for you to put the code of the prototype that you selected. So by the deadline, there should be in your repository, the one that you already have, all the folders, A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the content that should be expected, the final report, and in this other repository, the code of the system you implemented, the source code of the system you implemented. And then here there are the grading criteria, for which the prototype is 45% of this part, and the usability testing is 55%. So it's mostly 50-50, a little bit more on the usability testing, because it's something like more, let's say, new for you than implementing something in maybe a technology that you already know on a prototype you already worked for the entire semester so far. And again, on the usability testing, many of these things will be clear when we talk about usability testing, that is starting next week. Any question about assignment 5? This will be published this week, after tomorrow.
For the evaluation and the fake features, how should we behave? Like, should we tell the user this feature is implemented in a fake way, it will tell you this, or just...
No. So if there are features that are implemented partially, like the sign language before, you don't tell the people, because in usability testing, we will see again next week, you will give them a series of tasks that are not your 3 tasks. There will be other tasks, more than 3, more specific, more, let's say, subtasks of those 3 tasks. And so it's more guided. So the person will, let's say, experiment the wrong situation and the right situation. And so you will know which are the output, and you will see how the usability is going. And then for details, again, talk with teacher of your team, because it may depend a little bit from project to project. But in general, no, there is no need in this case. If it's not something like the Wizard of Oz, of course. If it's something more hard-coded, it's not needed. Any other question? If not, see some of you tomorrow, and on Monday again, we will talk about possible tools and framework and libraries and language to implement your chosen project. And then on Tuesday, we will start with talking about usability testing. Have a nice rest of the week.